about if you're not left or right? You're just a taxpayer like me, a lowly taxpayer, and I'd like to investigate fraud. I want my money back that was stolen from me. Is that okay or is that not okay?
Listen, that's
I want my money back.
Who they were targeting.
I don't care where it's coming from. I want my money back.
So,
but what
I get
she is saying is that nothing they are doing, nothing they have done
to do with
is helping you get your money back.
I represent taxpayers, and I want my money back.
Having gone through all of the information for today, one thing's for certain. The old guard is dying out. We are witnessing peace through strength in ways never experienced in our lifetime. The next focus is the elections, stolen ones. Amazing how all of this disclosure has the enemy scrambling for any type of support, but it doesn't hold weight anymore. The people are done. The comms are many today also. They're off the charts. Can't wait to get into it. Folks, we're at 505,000 followers on Rumble. I think we've gone up quite a bit. We thank you for all of that and also hitting that like button for our videos. It definitely helps us out with the algorithms and more. Also, we have 2 days left to announce the Freedom Cruise 2026. I hope you guys are thinking about it. You jump on board. We're going to have a blast. We're going to have Q&A sessions, a couple of those. We're going to have many podcasters that I talk about will be on board and others that are on X that we share. We're looking forward to having them on board. We're going to have meet and greet time for basically time to talk one-on-one with each other. That's going to be great. And we're heading to Puerto Rico, even better. You're going to be in with hundreds of other people. You're going to be together inside the boat, and we're going to have a blast. I can't wait to see many of you. It's in the description box below, andweknow.com.
Every single Democrat in Congress voted to raise taxes on hardworking citizens. Their whole campaign was raise taxes. I've never heard of it before. All my life I grew up, and I hear politicians, we will cut taxes. This is the only group I've ever seen, we're going to raise your taxes. No wonder they lost. Actually, there were other reasons also.
Yeah, there are other reasons that they lost this other time, and that was because they weren't able to steal this last election. And I believe the military had a big part in that. I think the Space Force was created for that, to monitor and keep them from basically stealing, going into the machines and hacking them and so much more, because that's what they do. And that leads to what's playing out in Hotlanta.
Tonight, FBI agents are going through materials found today during a search of the Fulton County, Georgia election office. That search is said to be related to the 2020 election. Correspondent David Spunt has details tonight. Good evening, David.
Brett, good evening. FBI agents are still on site at the records warehouse for the Fulton County, Georgia Board of Elections. The matter is sealed before a court, meaning details are limited, but we can report this is related to the 2020 presidential election. Sources tell Fox News that agents retrieved documents, phones, and computers after a judge signed a warrant. President Trump has long made Georgia, and specifically Fulton County, a target of his complaints relating to the 2020 election. Shortly after that election, Trump spoke to Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, and said he needed 11,780 votes to win the state. At the time, Raffensperger said he felt pressure from Trump and denied any widespread election fraud. He continues to deny it to this day. Now, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis brought state criminal charges against then former President Trump and others in 2023 for conspiracy to overturn the election. But her prosecution, Brett, was eventually derailed completely after it was revealed she had an intimate relationship with the top prosecutor on her team, and it could have tainted the case. Late last year, a judge dismissed the case in its entirety. Now, Brett, Last month, the Justice Department sued Fulton County, Georgia, seeking access to 2020 voting records after state officials allegedly failed to respond to a subpoena. Fox News has learned the head of the FBI's Atlanta field office was recently forced out in recent days, but it's unclear, Brett, if this is all related.
Tulsi Gabbard next. You know, we talked about this. Remember, he said, well, I mean, they keep disclosing things one piece at a time. They started with President Trump's election. We go in with Doge and they went crazy. No, Doge is cutting. USAID stealing billions, if not trillions of dollars. Gone. Oh no, SNAP benefits. We're not really stealing the SNAP benefits. Oh, the illegals were getting them. Gone. Oh no, we have fraud and all the Somalians over here, they're coming over and they're making these fake daycares. Well, they're caught. And now, oh no, the ballots in Atlanta. We're next. And you've got the Fulton County Commissioner, Dana Barrett, running for Georgia Secretary of State. Oh boy.
What you're doing is extremely dangerous.
Why is it dangerous?
Because you're spreading conspiracy theories.
It's not a conspiracy theory. Do you have $45? I'm not undermining. I'm not saying people are voting there. Ma'am, I'm not saying that people are voting there. I'm not saying people are voting there. I'm saying people are currently registered to vote there. We went around Fulton County the last few weeks and we see that people are currently registered to vote in places like empty lots, homeless shelters that closed 10 years ago. What would you do if you become Secretary of State to address that?
I'm not going to reply to conspiracy theories.
It's not conspiracy. It's a current. You can currently go on the voter rolls, purchase them for $45, and go there with us. We will gladly take you if you want to go to.
I appreciate what you're saying. I'm not going to respond to conspiracy theories.
How is that a conspiracy theory? It's an act of voter rolls. If you're going to be running for Secretary of State, you're in charge of maintaining the voter rolls. Don't you care about if people are registered to vote from empty lots?
Questions. I appreciate it. I've got to.
Do you think it's a conspiracy theory that people are registered to vote from empty lots, though? Well, I have the ability to go wherever I want to. People are currently registered to vote in empty lots, Commissioner. And if you're going to run for Secretary of State, aren't you going to at least take a look at that? It took me $45 to purchase the voter rolls. You can do that as well for the Fulton County. You can see that people are registered to vote.
They continue to follow her and she's just running away. And all they have left is conspiracy theories. It's conspiracy theories. The very wording that was put together by the CIA nearly, 80 years ago, we were pushing that. Conspiracy theories. And then she gets in the vehicle. Help me, rescue me before they take me to prison. Oh my goodness. And off they go. And then you got the Fulton County Commission. You guys have your popcorn, by the way. I mean, you know, we watch movies and we're like, yeah, great movie. It's got some great music in the background and more. And we're excited. And at the very end, you're like, wow, that was great. Well, here we are. We always say, grab your popcorn. Here's the Fulton County Commissioner calling the DOJ search warrant for 2020 ballots. You ready? An assault on your vote.
Let me just say that we are going to, if there's a question of are we going to take all legal action to make sure that, this, what I consider to be an assault on voters. This is an assault on your vote. So I think that, Marvin is an attorney, I'm an attorney. We are all trying to figure out what to do about this. But what we know is that does not even matter.
I've never seen an attorney start screaming at a microphone. That does not even matter. I'm an attorney. He's an attorney. We're trying to get balance. That doesn't even matter. When have you guys seen attorneys screaming? Those who scream the loudest have been caught. And as they get the ballots out of there, it's very interesting what has to be said. But I'm showing you the full video on the screen, but I'm also going to show you this. President Trump actually posted this David Kite video. FBI agents have finished executing their horn at the Fulton County Elections Office. President Trump posted this video. Check it out.
These may look like random truck boxes, but Jason, explain to us what is currently happening 10 feet away from us.
Yeah, David, this is a beautiful day. We've been trying to get these ballots, everything from 2020, pretty much since 2020. We've been told time and again everything was fine. Don't worry about it. Why are you investigating 2020? This happened so many years ago. You know what? If there was nothing to hide, they would have showed us years ago. Now we're going to find out. These trucks are on their way to Virginia. They're going to be out of state very soon, and it is time to get to the bottom of 2020.
So basically, it's about 700 ballot boxes from the 2020 election because, again, this is the Fulton County Election Office. Today, FBI executed a search warrant where they seized essentially those 700 boxes.
Everything.
And now they've officially left. This is the train, as we'll say, that's on the way, hopefully, out of Georgia.
In safe keepings.
Exactly. We don't want a judge to suddenly, and real quickly, we'll get to the judge in a second. These are actual people that that you've been fighting together with since 2020.
Yes.
Trying to make this a possibility. You've been here till the minute that they left, and it seems like they're probably going to follow them to make sure that everything will be fine and secure.
We've got to make sure the ballots get there and there are no hiccups.
Yeah.
But this is a beautiful day. I mean,
Absolutely.
we need to get to the bottom of this. Whoever won, we just want the answers.
Yeah.
It's time to stop hiding.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations, Jason, and to everyone here.
Thank
Seriously.
you.
That is a victory. Congratulations. And I love how he's talking about we got to make sure the ballots make it. I mean, I don't know if you've seen a lot of those movies. What are those movies out there? They've got those famous actors that go in and they're driving their trucks and they've got all the vehicles like FBI and more. And all of a sudden the deep state pulls up like SEALs, former SEALs. And next thing you know, they take over the ballots and run. Well, this isn't that kind of movie. What it is panic mode. Heather Mullins shows us this clip. Fulton County Chairman Rob Pitts. I mean, each one of them's coming out at the election warehouse. These 2020 ballots are no longer safe.
Moved from this facility out of our control. We don't know where they're being taken. We don't know what's going to happen to them. So we can no longer, and I can no longer, as chair of this board, satisfy not only the citizens of Atlanta, but the citizens of the world that those ballots are still secure. So that is a major concern that I have right now. Again, my point is, once they were here, as long as they were here in the control of Fulton County, I was confident that they were safe and secure.
I was confident, even though they cheated and they didn't let us have the ballots and they had their people just bringing all kinds of ballots in and they had the water pipe bust and oh boy. I'm going to show you some of that later. Remember Ruby Freeman? Anyway, despite Chairman Pitts giving Fulton County an A+ rating for their handling of the 2020 election, Fulton County hired one of Georgia's top 10 criminal defense lawyers. What? Criminals? Oh, we need somebody that's going to help us because we're criminals. After a judge unsealed the ballots, one would think if Fulton County meticulously ran a flawless election, then a transparent audit would simply reflect that and no criminal defense lawyers would be needed. But all of a sudden, now they're out screaming, this is not safe. This is not secure. Oh no, they're going to catch us. Oh no, we could go to prison. So I'm going to show you, remember Ruby Freeman, how old this fake Biden actor brought her up front for the world to see as part of this popcorn movie. Get your popcorn. I'm going to see it in a moment.
White ones, we've got clear ones.
Tons of microplastics wash ashore all over the world every day. And now for the first time, scientists in the Netherlands have detected microplastic pollution in human blood.
All the microplastics and nanoplastics we are exposed to, we inhale and we ingest, that actually, there's so much plastic that it can even enter our bloodstream.
The Dutch study on blood samples from healthy adults detected tiny plastic particles in 80% of people.
If microplastic plaque is discovered in your arteries and veins, you are 4.5 times more likely to die from heart attack or stroke. Humans now ingest 6 times more microplastics than in 1990, so trust me, you've got microplastics in your arteries. Microplastics devastate our ability to retain muscle mass and even impact our bone density, making us weak and brittle. Microplastics are altering our DNA by causing DNA damage. This is concerning because it is a known risk factor for disease like cancer. They disrupt our hormones. A recent study shows sperm count and testosterone levels are lower than ever. Avoiding and limiting the use of plastic is not enough. We must take active steps to remove these toxins from the body before they do irreversible damage. BPA is degraded by Bacillus pumilus, a unique strain of bacteria found in kimchi. Another recent study shows that consuming kimchi lowers blood pressure, triglycerides, blood glucose. Kimchi has also been shown to enhance the quality of skin and hair, reduce risk of obesity, improve gut health and digestion. Right now, and we know viewers can get 25% off Kimchi 1 with code AUK at mybrightcore.com/AUK or call 888-317-9941 for up to 50% off, free shipping, and a free bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2 only when you call. Again, that's 888-317-9941. So the actor with the mask, they called him Joe Biden, one of the 4 or 5 actors, who knows how many there were, said, hey, I got a great idea. What's that? We're going to bring the J6 fake folks in. We're going to have them sit down next to Ruby Freeman. And we're going to give her an award and let the whole world see just how amazing she was for pulling off the greatest ballot heist in history.
Inspired by the voting rights legacy of her beloved Atlanta, Lady Ruby Freeman viewed her civic duty as a Fulton County election worker as a sacred mission to ensure the people of Georgia could exercise their fundamental right to vote freely and fairly. In the 2020 election, she upheld that sacred mission despite an orchestrated campaign to overturn the election and that targeted and threatened her and her family. To the nation, she bore witness of the trauma and tragedy of that experience, and today, we the people honor Lady Ruby Freeman as part of our nation's voting rights history.
She's smiling and she took that deep breath. See this? Deep breath. Come on. Whew. Oh, thank goodness they got that auto pen. Let's be reminded of just how good she was at this heist.
8 o'clock in the morning, we're going to roll this back and show it to you. There you go. So now they're going to start pulling these ballots out from under this table.
There's Ruby wearing purple.
This table, the black one, was placed there by the lady with the blonde braids at about 8:22 a.m. in the morning. So she put that table there. So the same person who's staying behind now, the same person who cleared the place out under the pretense that we're going to stop counting, is the person who put the table there at 8:22 in the morning. Yeah, I saw 4 suitcases come out from underneath the table.
One suitcase after another. Bringing them out. Okay, now I'm going to stick them in the machine and I'm going to run them through many, many times. Don't worry, Joe. We're going to get you in, my friend. And when I do, I need help because I'm scared. They've caught me. They caught me. And they said, don't worry. We've got the auto pen. We're going to pardon you if anything happens. We're going to bring you in front of the world and make you look like a hero. Oh, yes, please make me look like a hero. But earlier this month, Fulton County admitted that approximately 315,000 votes from the 2020 election were illegally certified.
The tapes myself, but we do not dispute that the tapes were not signed. It was a violation of the rule. Since 2020, again, we have new leadership and a new building and a new board and new standard operating procedures. And since then, the training has been enhanced. The poll watchers are trained specifically. They've got to sign the tapes in the morning and they've got to sign the tapes when they're run at the end of the day. When the tapes come back to the hub with all the documentation, they are checked again. And if somebody forgot to sign a tape, then Fulton initiates an investigation.
The admission came during a December 9th hearing before the Georgia State Election Board, stemming from a challenge filed by David Cross, a local election integrity activist. Cross filed a challenge with the SEB in March 2022, alleged that Fulton County violated Georgia statute in handling of advance voting ahead of the November 2020 election, counting hundreds of thousands of votes, even though polling workers failed to sign off on the vote tabulation tapes critical to the certification process. And Fulton County admitted to it. Ann Bramba, attorney for the Fulton County Board of Registration and Elections, told the SEB in the hearing that while she has not seen the tapes herself, the county does not dispute that the tapes were not signed. Oh, my goodness. Yep, we're seeing a lot more movement than I've ever seen before. Remember this, David told us, Giglio, 5 states decided the 2020 election. All 5 stopped counting at the same time, with Trump holding commanding leads. When counting resumed, each state dumped thousands of ballots that broke almost exclusively for Joe Biden. Only a fool wouldn't ask questions. Remember, we even had this. There's no evidence of voter fraud. Dead voters confirmed. Corruption tabulation software confirmed. Dominion executive part of Biden's team confirmed. Observers illegally removed confirmed. Mathematical impossibilities confirmed. 15,000 plus ballots missed in Georgia confirmed. More voters than people in a county confirmed. Fake signatures accepted. Whistleblowers alleging wrongdoing. Hundreds of sworn affidavits. Voting system processing parts from China. Voting machines vulnerable to hacks. All confirmed. And then they just happened to take all that information. I don't know. It's kind of interesting, the timing here. And they sat down with Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. Supposed to be on immigration enforcement, right? And the National Press Club is sitting there with him. And the first thing they ask him, very interesting how this all timed out perfectly.
Well, Mayor Johnson, we'll start off the Q&A with breaking news, a question from Mike Balsamo at the Associated Press. As we've been speaking, the FBI says it is serving a search warrant at the Fulton County Elections Office in Georgia. What do you make of that, and what should the public be thinking in moments like that? As the administration moves forward with law enforcement actions like this?
Yeah, I don't think there's a secret that the Trump administration is absolutely determined to undermine one of the most principled fundamental values of our democracy, which is a free and fair election. He has been on a rampage, arguing that somehow the democratic process did him wrong. And this is yet another attempt or an example of the Trump administration working to intimidate voters and to ultimately suppress our ability to hold government accountable. As far as the response is concerned, I really believe that as a nation, we have to really look at the model that was set during the civil rights movement. We need a well-trained, organized operation to ultimately expand the resistance that is already afoot in this country. Saving our democracy is the most patriotic thing that we can do in this season.
Saving our democracy. The same terms over and over. Saving our democracy. I love all these folks out there on different platforms. Sherry Unfiltered showed us reminder, 40,000 citizen affidavits of election fraud in Georgia.
You guys brought us on yesterday. So we can say we were physically here? We did go.
They brought them in for all to see. FBI agents loading 2020 election ballots into trucks right now, right? Today, tonight, yesterday. Georgia Governor Kemp's TikTok. Governor Kemp ignored the fraud evidence. It was all brought to him. Governor Kemp. And I'll look back on this just a little bit because some of you are well aware of Governor Kemp and what happened to him when he came out and he was talking about the election. And possible fraud or whatever came up at the time. I can't remember. It's been a long time. But if you remember, his daughter was dating a guy right after Ruby Freeman was caught. This boy who was dating, this young man that was dating Kemp's daughter, was blown to smithereens on the Georgia freeway. You guys remember that? They said, it was a car accident. Oh, if it was a car, I've never seen a car demolished to the point that it was. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, I found it. There it is. Kemp sent a message. Daughter's fiance. It was a fiance, that's right. Blown to shreds. You guys looking at your screen? That's not just an accident. He was taken out, and I believe it was a missile. They said the explosion, I remember the witnesses said they could hear an explosion, right? When I heard car accidents not too far away from me, it sounds like, right? There's like you can hear a crack. They said it was an explosion and it rocked that neighborhood. Proud Army brat said Brian Kemp was considering investigating voter fraud until his daughter's boyfriend perished in a car crash. No, that was a car crash. No, it wasn't a car crash. December 4th, 2020. If the CIA wants to warn you, they will, and they'll own you forever. And she says CIA, and we're talking severe deep state type of stuff. See, we had another one here. December 3rd, 2020, Brian Kemp went on to Laura Ingram's show, called for a signature verification audit. There you go. After a video surfaced showing people pulling boxes of ballots from underneath tables. And the next day, if you're looking at your screen, the car was blown to smithereens. And I remember, I think it was Sidney Powell had something to say about all of that. So yeah, getting into the elections seems to be the move of the week. The SAVE Act came out.
Repeatedly urged the passing the SAVE Act as well as many MAGA Republicans. What is the holdup in the Senate? Why hasn't that been brought to the floor for a vote? And what's your stance on requiring proof of citizenship to vote in elections?
Well, I'm for that. I've co-sponsored the SAVE Act in the past. I think my understanding is that they are still modifying the bill. It includes right now a requirement that you be a citizen to register to vote, but it doesn't include a requirement that to vote you be a resident. So in other words, if you're going to have what we call voter ID or photo ID when somebody goes into the ballot box to vote, that's not currently covered in the bill. So that's being fixed and addressed, and I think the new bill that comes out hopefully will deal with that. But I mean, at some point we'll have that vote. I'm for it. I think most of our colleagues in the Senate are, and I don't, it hasn't had consideration in the relevant committee yet. But I know there's a high level of interest among our members in getting a vote on SAVE Act.
So John Thune, the guy that most of us don't trust. What about the SAVE Act? You going to get it through? What are you going to do about the SAVE Act? A lot of folks have, we've had enough. We want this stuff pushed through. We're tired. Get the filibuster in. Enough of this. We need the votes. We need this done. It should happen today. While all this is going on, Dan Scavino dropped this video clip. For those listening, President Trump is getting out of Marine One, the helicopter. Walks past the Marine. He's wearing a white USA hat. USA. And the song playing is Nessun Dorma, one of our favorites. It's like the signal, right, for all of us to be ready. Fantastic. From that movie, I believe, Sum of All Fears, right? Is that the movie? On the screen, it also has the degrees, 26 degrees Fahrenheit. And it looks like the timestamp is 9:38. Now, before I explain how many people came together to talk about this drop from Dan Scavino, what it might mean, Ripcord said, let's review the recent happenings. Bill and Hillary in contempt of Congress. Epstein files close to being released. Insurrection in Minnesota. Violent protests getting out of hand. The National Guard activated. Gold and silver at all-time highs. Silver reached 117, folks. The dollar's collapsing. Election office in Georgia's raided. The 2020 election. Possible government shutdown on Friday. Everything, everywhere, all at once. The perfect storm. So if you look at that 26 degrees and go to 26 on the cue board, it says, think about it logically. The only way is the military, fully controlled, save and spread. Once 11.3 verifies the first marker, biggest advance drop on poll. For those wondering, again, let me explain to some that might be new or not understand. 26 degrees was on that video. We go to number 26 on the cue board. There it is, 26 and 26. If you go to qagg.news, there it is, all right? qagg.news. And all you have to do is type in the number, drop number here. You type in 26, you hit enter. I'm doing that now. And there is number 26. Think about it logically. The other part, it was posted at 9:38. You see the number down here at the bottom, 9:38. 9:38 showing up. N does not refer to Nazi. The continued Nazi ideology is relevant. Events will clarify. Think subgroup. Grasshopper 17 went to town on this thing. And he was showing all the connections. President Trump getting off Marine One for that particular video dropped by Dan Scavino. And he noticed many connections, and I'm not going to go through in detail, just tell you the messaging is boom, boom, boom. The Great Awakening, battle stations ready, where we go one, we go all. My signatures all reference upcoming events about to drop if this hasn't been caught on. Snow White, Godfather 3, the only way is the military, fully controlled, save and spread. Amazing. We're fighting for life, fighting for good. We're at war. Trust the military. Trust the chain of command. We're in control. You were chosen for a reason. Protect and comfort those around you. What other messages might be there? Paul Florent. Scavino posted that vid with Ness and Dorma, Sum of All Fears. That's the movie, Sum of All Fears. Did I get it wrong earlier? I must have got it wrong. Anyway, 47-second video. It features the number 26. So if the video is 47 seconds, let's look at 47 on cue board. You can paint the picture based solely on the questions asked. Be vigilant today and expect a major false flag. Does anyone find it to be a coincidence? There's always a terrorist attack when bad news breaks for the Ds, for the Democrats. What is that called? Military relevant. How? BO could not. Barack Obama could not and would not allow the military to destroy ISIS. Why? How was ISIS formed? Obama. When? How was POTUS made such progress in such short time that he's been president? Amazing. Ultra MAGA Dean Erickson. He's going to be on the cruise with us, folks. Get a chance to meet him. Dan Scavino's ex-post is a 47-second video of President Trump wearing a white hat, returning to the White House, showing it's 26 degrees outside. Dan never posts a video with the temperature on it, while the last few verses of Nessim Dorma is being played in the background. What are those verses? Vanish, O night. Set stars. At dawn I will win. I will win. I will win. So President Trump wearing a white hat, returning to the White House at night. Vanish, O night. At dawn I will win. I will win. I will win. Not a coincidence. Dan never usually posts a video with the temperature. We are in the final scene of Sum of All Fears, where we hunt down all the traitors and take them out like rats. The only way is the military. I've got some more comms and more things with Ilhan Omar and her fake press briefing and so much more. Hang in there. Are you tired of tap water loaded with toxins like lead, arsenic, and chlorine? That hidden danger building up in your pipes, your showers, your family's health? What if every drop could be pure, mineral-rich, and delicious instead? Introducing the AQ Whole House Water Filtration System from Sentry H2O. The revolutionary two-stage powerhouse neutralizes hard and soft scale, no salt needed, while stripping away over a dozen nasty contaminants, fluoride, pesticides, bacteria, even pharmaceuticals. Custom options for city or well water, including iron and nitrates removal. For homes up to 2,500 square feet, it delivers alkaline, calcium-enriched water. Every faucet can get it. Say goodbye to dry skin and dull hair. Sentry H2O's shower water filter hydrates like a spa day. Their compact under-sink wellness system, well, it's a 5-stage filtration in zero-waste design, boost pH, adds magnesium, installs in 15 minutes, no plumber required. Thousands of families transforming their water. So folks, shop the AWK revolution at sentryh2o.com/AWK in the description box below. Please use that code AWK for 10% off, and that if you're starting a New Year's health journey, toxin-free water can help with weight loss and overall health as well. We interviewed Nelson last month. See the full interview in the link below to learn more. True Stormy Joe chimed in on that video. Sum of all fears. Nessim Dorma. North Korea announces next stage nuclear plans. That was in the news. DJ Chi posts about sending warships to Iran so they can't have nuclear weapons. Q posted the same thing in Q194 and 195. Guess what they talk about? The Iran deal on both of those drops. Some of all fears, North Korea, Iran deal, nukes. Probably all coincidence. Carry on, nothing to see here. Yeah, because President Trump dropped a truth. A massive armada is heading to Iran. It is moving quickly with great power, enthusiasm, and purpose. It is a larger fleet headed by the great aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln than that sent to Venezuela. Like with Venezuela, it is ready, willing, and able to rapidly fulfill its mission, and with with speed and violence, if necessary. Hopefully, Iran will quickly come to the table and negotiate a fair and equitable deal. No nuclear weapons. One that is good for all parties. Time is running out, is truly of the essence. As I told Iran once before, make a deal. They didn't, and there was Operation Midnight Hammer. A major destruction of Iran. The next attack will be far worse. Don't make that happen again. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. You know, they're sitting there probably and they get that message. You know, we're all reading it. Why do we need to see the message? They're the ones that need the message. The evil leadership there. I'm sure he already let them know in his own way. But if they watched how quickly Venezuela was taking her out and the way they did it, they're probably going, boy, I think we need to make some moves. It's going to be pretty scary. You know, getting back to Minnesota, imagine how frustrating it must be to live in a place with mostly normal people, but having a handful of useful idiots make your state look totally insane to the rest of the world all day, every day, says Damani Felder. That's right. Look at that. Look at all that red in Minnesota. Yet Minneapolis, was blue. Causing all those problems for the whole United States. And we need that SAVE Act so we can get the voting taken care of, get these illegals out, and you'll have Americans voting, and then probably, maybe, just maybe, Minneapolis could maybe turn red. I don't know.
Do you have any insight as to what the holdup is in the Senate? Why is Stu not bringing this to the floor?
What's the holdup, Scott?
We got to get a vote on it. Whether we do have to do it through a standing filibuster in these capacities. Illegal. Somebody here illegal does not have a right to register to vote in our country and does not have a right to vote in our election.
Thank you.
That's right. Better do the right thing. If it means filibuster, yeah, get rid of that. We're had enough. These characters, how they got in, how they're running the country and more. They've been busted. If you guys didn't catch this, let me show you.
Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
So there's Ilhan Omar. If you guys didn't catch it, I'm sure most of you have already seen it, but she's at the podium. Some dude runs up with water and sprays it all over her. She runs at him instead of running backwards. She starts cussing and acting like a fool. They're all saying, "What was that? What was that?" And then she gets up and finishes her speech. Yeah. The American people see through the lies. She actually gave a glance at the guy right before he stood up. Right there. Glance. It's time for you. Time. Come on. Go ahead. And he gets up and does his thing. Representative Marr continued her town hall because of one of two options. She does not have the self-preservation instincts accompanied being sprayed with a smelly substance, such as getting a doctor to check it out or even as simple as washing it off. She staged it. How do we know? Oh, oops. There they are together. Smiling. Should have never took that picture. He's also hanging out with all types of people. This guy right here. Look at all the people that he hangs out with. Wow. They look quite normal. What do you think? And here's the nod.
Resign or face impeachment.
You see the nod? It's played over and over again. She looks at him, glances. It's your turn. Come on. They're just terrible actors. Oh, man. They should have brought their Hollywood folks and put the masks on and said, you guys pull this one off. Just like the media, how they join together and they're saying, oh, these MAGA people, they're so terrible. They're spraying us. They're spraying all over Elon Musk and causing problems. Yeah, they all work together in cahoots. As a matter of fact, when this guy, Alex Preddy, was on MSNBC, when they showed his picture, they gave this guy, if you're looking at your screen, I mean, he was just, he just doesn't look anything like what they did to him. They hit that edit button with his photo. What did they do? They gave him a stronger jawline. They gave him a nice tan. They gave him better teeth, stronger forehead, and a nose job to make him look hotter for the AWFLs. They broadened his shoulders, thickened his neck, gave him some biceps. They want you to think this guy was all that. But you guys know who spits on a federal agent and kicks out his taillight and footage released by the BBC 11 days before he brought his gun and started causing problems, and now he's gone.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Preddy interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy. On the morning of January 13th, our team received a tip that federal agents were blocking a street at the corner of East 36 and Park Avenue in Minneapolis. We arrived around 10:15 a.m. We saw observers shouting at the agents as they walked back to their vehicles. When they started driving away, the man kicked their taillight. An agent then got out of the vehicle, grabbed him, and pushed him to the ground. During the altercation, agents fired tear gas and pepper balls into the crowd. They continued to hold the man down before they retreat, and he walks away.
Just walks away. Kicks the taillight out. And then 11 days later, he says, I'm going back. President Trump chimed in, said, surprisingly, Mayor Jacob Frey just stated that Minneapolis does not and will not enforce federal immigration laws. This is after having had a very good conversation with him. Could somebody in his inner sanctum please explain that this statement is a very serious violation of the law? And he's playing with fire. Who else is playing with fire? Oh, Premilia Jayapal.
We really need to, as soon as we get the gavels back, we have to dismantle DHS and ICE and CBP. And we have to reconstruct them to what they really should be doing. Remember, don't let people tell you that these are agencies that have always existed and they need to exist. They didn't exist before 9/11.
We need these folks to be dismantled so we can continue to lie to you and cheat in elections. We don't have our voter base anymore, and they've got to stay here. Otherwise, you're never going to see me again. Translation.
I want to read you the list of deportations by president. Clinton, 12.5 million, 0 protests. Bush, 10 million, 0 protests. Obama, 5.2 million, 0 protests. Joe Biden, Mr. Open Borders. Yes, he let in hundreds of thousands, if not millions, but he deported 7 million.
20 million by some count.
Oh my God, but he deported 7, whatever. It doesn't count because he undid that. And then Trump, 1.2 million. And where were the cameras?
Well, this has to do with media, obviously. The media isn't as focused on the other deportations from other presidents, so...
They praised them!
Oh, yeah. If you're looking at your screen, Omar, Ellison, Frey, Waltz, Somali fraud. More have been caught.
We left and we headed over to the next building that had 22 of the same home health care providers operating from inside of the building.
Right here you have multicultural home care. And right here it says it's open, but can't even get in. Another Reliance Recovery Center. Mercy and Grace Care, Inc. Right here you have Denden Eritrean Youth Development Association of Minnesota. Another child care center. Welcome to Bright Beginning Center. But what do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Sorry. No comments. Can I please?
Right here you have Serenity Quality Care. All of these businesses are literally the same type of business providing the same type of business providing the same service in the same building. Another Convenience Home Healthcare Aid Inc. and Child Friendly Space. All these companies get money from the government. Why would you have the same company essentially inside of the same building, door to door? Right here, Queenly Home Healthcare. It just does not make sense. If you were trying to operate a business, you'd want to have less competition. But here, they have all of their competition right next door. We're wondering, because we hear there's lots of fraud taking place here in Minnesota, and we're wondering, why is there so many of the same companies inside of this same building?
No, I don't know that.
What do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't have any idea about that fraud, okay? That's it.
What do you think about the news articles and what's being spread on the news about the fraud?
Right now, you are doing something wrong.
I'm just asking you.
No, you
about
don't
the
have
fraud.
to ask me, okay? Don't ask me that question again. Okay?
Okay. Who can I speak to? Who can I speak to? Okay. As soon as you confront them about the fraud, they get angry. When these people have these home healthcare companies, you're seeing them everywhere inside this building. What kind of fraud are they committing?
So there's false documentation being submitted to the state of Minnesota for services never provided. They're having forms signed in advance for services that were then never rendered. As far as a year or 2 years in advance, they'll have someone sign these forms at one sitting, and then they just file those with the state of Minnesota, and nobody from the state of Minnesota bothers to check that those services were ever provided.
So they're essentially just using people saying that they had these services provided months or even years ago, then filing the paperwork and then receiving money from the government.
Right, and the Somali community is a very closed community, so everybody's in on it, and they don't want to talk, as you can see.
And for this building, I'm going to give an estimate of around $30 million for how much fraud is taking place. That is a very low estimate. However, still a lot of money in fraud.
And do you think there is fraud taking place here?
I don't know. Yeah.
Do you have any idea what any of these businesses are doing?
I never ask.
Never ask. Criminals. You guys remember Melinda, the healthcare worker at VCU Health, posted a series of videos encouraging people to inject ICE agents with some type of paralysis drug, spray poison on them more. Well, VCU Health said following investigation, the individual involved in the social media videos is no longer employed by VCU Health. They fulfilled its reporting requirements under Virginia state law. Also, remember the Florida Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo revoked the nursing license of labor and delivery nurse Lexi Lawler for making comments that wished harm on Caroline Levitt during her delivery of her baby. Effective today, Lexi Lawler is no longer allowed to practice nursing in Florida, making statements that wish pain and suffering on anyone when those statements are directly related to one's practice is an ethical red line we should not cross. So her husband, Tim, supporting his wife, says the right wants to shut people up. We're not going to be silent. So he started a GoFundMe, got about $3,000 for that, huh? The right-wing MAGA machine, he says, is hard at work with useful idiots, is what he calls MAGA, that do not see how angry they should be at the people in charge of these cruel policies. Kids are being kidnapped. People are being shot. Oppositionists being silenced. They want to shut down. Mean words from Anger says. That was not, those weren't mean words there, buddy. You were asking for something severely wrong for the press secretary. It's amazing how the Democrats can say whatever they want about leadership and they seem to get by with it, right? Republicans were we'll pray for you. We'll do great things. The conservatives seem to stay even keel, and they accuse us of being the ones that aren't tolerant. Anyway, enough of that. Also, Nasra Ahmed. Do you remember her?
So I'm Somali. I'm proud to be Somali. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's a lot. It's like, it's an interesting thing. It's very hard to describe what it means to be Somali and what it means to be American.
Well, right now, what it means to be Somali in America is pirate. And 85, 86, 87% of them living off of our taxpayer money and just chilling, making billions of dollars on daycares and health, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, Nasra Ahmed, the lady who went viral for saying Somali is more than bananas and rice, has been arrested in Minneapolis for assaulting federal officers. No Band-Aid on the head. President Trump has put the Lee Zeldin in charge. Well, I'm going to show you Lee Zeldin in a minute, but I want to show you something that President Trump does as he's talking. Watch what happens on your screen. This is at 4:37 p.m. Central Time.
Farmers, we love our farmers. We won this thing. I think hell is voting for Kamala. It's
4:37 p.m. Central Time. And you saw what happens. It says New York, Texas, and there's a beep. Well, amazing. News Treason Channel 17 said as Trump was speaking, the Fox News Live was interrupted at 4:37 Central. It's 5:37 Eastern Standard Time, which is 17:37 military time. If you look at drop 17:37 on the cue board, it says this, device test. Oh, device test. Isn't that amazing? And if you look at 17 as the number Q and 37 happens to be what? On the cue board, 37 says this. They are the true patriots. We will never forget. Let these coming days be remembered in our history as the time we fought to recapture the republic from those bad actors, evil bad actors, who for so long has sacrificed the good people of this land for their own personal gain. Fight the good fight. President Trump put Lee Zeldin in charge of cutting through the tape so Californians can get building permits and rebuild after the fire.
a year later, they don't have permits. Almost nobody is building. So I haven't told this to Lee Zeldin yet, but I'm going to put you in charge of getting permits. I think we're going to override the local authorities because they're never going to have it. And when I was told that there's a provision where you can override the local authority to get things done, because it's really, to me, it's a national emergency. What they've done to these people is horrible. It's just horrible. And they'll still vote Democrat. Can you believe it? After all, it's just, they get used to it. Although I must say we converted many. We'll probably convert a lot more.
And I believe him. I'm in shock, folks, at some of our distant family members, some that are not tied to me directly, but in some cousin way or marriage or whatever, through, I don't know, third, fourth, apart from us as far as whatever. Anyway, we, hang out together, talk to them once in a while, maybe once every 2 years we'll visit. And I'm in shock that these people, no matter how much is going on around them, still are Democrats. Like, are you guys crazy? Have you lost your mind? I just don't get it. Oh, man. Just got to keep praying for him.
What about our own government? Now, as you referenced, we could be barreling toward the shutdown at the end of the week. Last time we did see an economic effect as a result of the shutdown. What do you expect?
We did. I don't know what to expect. The Democrats can become unhinged like they were last time, and they don't care. Like, they think this is a way to stop President Trump.
They're tapping into something in the mood of the country when it comes to the funding of ICE.
Again, President Trump has brought down the temperature on the situation. He's in constant contact, and he is urging them not to shut down the government. And again, that much of what happened during the shutdown, or some of what happened during the shutdown, That gets pushed into this quarter, but especially on the service side, when the government's shut down, that never comes back. So there's a big permanent loss. I hope the Democrats won't do that again.
Are you hearing?
Will they do a shutdown? I don't know. Who knows what's going to play out? I mean, every single day, something strange going on. Department of War CTO put this out, peace through strength. The Department of War. Showing that missile. Oof. Not up Q on X. Amazing connections. The administration puts the gray check mark, on their X accounts, right? They got the gray check mark. You see that? Let me show you. The gray check mark. They've got a gray check mark on just about everything that they do for these departments. They post continually, back to back, week after week, Q posts. Peace through strength is on the Q board. I'm going to show you that almost daily. The phrase from yesterday, peace through strength, even featured on the Department of War cover page. If you're looking at the Department of War, you'll see, I'm going to zoom in on this for you real quick. See that? Peace through strength. Where else do they post this? Lee Zeldin. Lower gas prices. Trillions of new investment into the U.S. Safer streets. Secure borders. Peace through strength. Department of War, 365 days of winning. Peace through strength. Kingsley Wilson, one historic year of President Trump's peace through strength agenda. Amazing how they all have the gray check mark on X. All together. Sharing Q drops. And there's Peace Through Strength, April 4th, 2018. You betcha. A lot of strength.
We made multiple attempts to get Maduro to leave voluntarily and to avoid all of this because we understood that he was an impediment to progress. You couldn't make a deal with this guy. Okay, this guy has made multiple deals. He's broken every one of them. As a point of example, he made a deal with the Biden administration, and here was the deal that he made. It was a bad deal. We knew he wouldn't keep it. He made the following deal. Pardon my nephews, his nephews, who were convicted narco traffickers, convicted already and serving time in jail. Pardon them. Pardon and release Alex Saab, who was his money man, his bag man, primarily in charge of the portfolio with Iran. Release these people. He, in turn, agreed to release some political prisoners, which he did. Many of them were subsequently exiled or rearrested, and that he would hold free and fair elections, which he did not. In fact, he basically disqualified Maria Corina Machado and any other candidate. And Edmundo Gonzalez ends up being the nominee for the opposition party simply because they forgot to ban him. And they forgot to put him on the ban list. And then despite that, he loses an election that everyone around the world recognizes an illegitimate election. So he's made previous deals. In fact, he's broken so many deals, not even the Vatican has been willing to interact with Maduro in the past because he's broken so many of these deals. He's just simply not a guy you can make a deal with. He had no intent of keeping it. What he wanted to do was tap us along and buy 3 years of time until he could deal with a new administration that he thought may be more favorable, etc. He was an impediment to progress. None of the things we're talking about now, not the release of political prisoners, not the transition of the oil industry to a legitimate oil industry, not the erosion of Iranian, Russian, or Chinese influence. None of these things would have been possible as long as Maduro was there.
As long as Maduro was there. But he's not there anymore. As a matter of fact, he's part of the old guard. The Dow Rapid Response, Department of War, Rapid Response, posted a picture. Tomb of the unknown soldier. Rain, snow, sleet, and hail, the tomb sentinels of the old guard keep watch. Again, in case you're not following or catching this, that happens to be a gray check mark on X. The old guard happens to be where? All over the Q boards. For those new, we've got references to that. Many of you know these phrases. You're watching the systematic destruction of the old guard. Power will return to the people. What happens when you're a threat to the mainstream media, the old guard? They have them together with the /. Coincidence? Threats? Scare tactics deployed? Fear not. There's a reason some can no longer be trusted. The swamp is everywhere. Attacks are coordinated. Why are we under heavy fire? P-A-I-N, pain. Did the liberal left old guard engage and form organizations such as Antifa to combat and silence fascism, any such deviation of the controlled narrative? Do the actions of those patriots abroad destroy the fake news narrative? We will not go silent into the night. We will not go without a fight. Do you believe this movement and worldwide events are simply a coincidence? Divided, you're weak. Together, you're strong. We had a post also from the Department of War, CTO. You've got that amazing painting, Washington going across right Christmas, Delaware, with this quote from George Washington. There is nothing so likely to produce peace as to be well prepared to meet the enemy. Now, that looks to me, and I could be wrong, but it looks like there's drones added on to this. I don't remember drones being around. And also looks like there's aircraft above him added. And those look like chemtrails, like weather control. Maybe sending a message to us to let us know they had to use something to defeat the enemy, and there's going to be some pain that we receive in all of this, but hold tight. I don't know. What do you guys think? People are fleeing blue states like crazy. New numbers reveal that since 2020, millions have moved to red states. Texas is gaining 2,500,000 people. Florida is gaining 1,900,000 people. Big moves. If you guys didn't catch it, also moves being made on the stock market. It just keeps growing. And Melania happened to show up there and ring the bell. The New York Stock Exchange. Now listen to the crowd. I think that's important that we listen to the crowd. She got a high five from both of them, and people are running, they're screaming, they're excited. They're not booing her. Remember the first term? They didn't let her on magazines. They didn't do anything. Now she's got a new film coming out, Melania. How many of you guys are going to check it out? How many of you believe they're going to be comms all over that movie? Looking forward to seeing those. Also, silver reached 117. I think 17 is a great number. It had a crazy move from 103 to 117, then sold off to 104. They said, oh, it's over. It peaked. Oh, no. It's 117. Folks, there are predictions it's going to go up into the thousands. I'm just telling you. I'm reading a bunch of stuff. I didn't hear that from Dr. Kirk Elliott yet, but I'm telling you, he's been on. And if you haven't got your silver yet, I mean, it's not too late, folks. It's going to keep going up. I really feel it. That's what seems like it needs to catch up with all how it's been suppressed for, I don't know, almost 100 years. And we know .com/gold. Dr. Kirk Elliott, go watch us. We're talking to each other. We're talking about this almost every single week we're on. He's been swamped with calls. I hope you guys are a big part of that. And also with this whole talk of money, I don't know if you guys know, but the Trump accounts, we're going to start the American Dream. It came out yesterday.
So delighted to report that dozens of major employers have signed up to add the Trump account contributions to the employee benefit packages, including Uber, Schwab, Charter Communications, and many, many others. And just today it was announced that Intel, NVIDIA, Broadcom, IBM, Steak and Shake, Coinbase, Continental Resources, and Comcast have all signed up for really big contributions.
Trump accounts. So I needed a video to kind of see what that's all about. Somebody posted this.
Let's break down Trump accounts, the new child savings program rolling out in 2026. These are tax-advantaged investment accounts created for kids under 18 who are U.S. citizens with a Social Security number. Every eligible child gets a $1,000 seed deposit from the federal government. No action required, except you have to open the account. You enroll by making an election on IRS Form 4547 when you file your taxes or through the online Trump Accounts portal once available. Once established, the account is invested and grows tax-deferred over time, similar to a traditional IRA until your child turns 18. You can help it grow by contributing up to $5,000 per year, and even employers or family can contribute too. Funds can be accessed without penalty when the child turns 18 for qualified expenses, like education, a first home purchase, or starting a business to jumpstart the American dream. This is one more way Republicans are delivering bigger paychecks, bigger tax returns, and bigger opportunities in 2026.
Paid for by Mike Johnson. Oh, man. News Trees in Channel 17. Explained by the president, right? Truth Social posted this video, right? Kids could have $300,000 to $400,000 available to education, home purchasing, right? By the time they turn 18, or business, education. Just imagine how different your life would be if you started with a positive $300,000 cash balance at age 18, folks. All that college loan debt gone. The excitement moving forward with our country. Learning more about these contributions and what it will do and more.
Two stats I want to point out, if I could. I like to bring the receipts when I know the press will be in the room. 38% of Americans don't own stock, but with these Trump accounts now, every single newborn child within the years of eligibility will be invested in the stock market. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. And I know Secretary McMahon at the Department of Education is working really hard to sort of upgrade our curriculum across the country, allowing states to lead first so that children can learn about the stock market, can learn about our economy, can learn about these basic life skills that they should be taught in our classrooms. This is something our children are going to be learning about for generations to come and benefiting from themselves. And then secondly, this statistic blew me away so much, I had the fact checkers fact check it again, but it's true. As parents, if we make maximum contributions to our child's Trump account, the projected value will be nearly $1.1 million by the time they are 28 years old. That is incredible. By the time your child is 28 years old, the Trump account could earn them up to $1.1 million. I'm 28 years old right now. I wish I had a Trump account back in 1997. So this is amazing.
It is amazing. All these moves being made. Kind of reminds me when we went to the boards and what did they tell us? It was just so much about children. Wanted to read this particular, I'm not going to read all that you see on your screen, but the one on the left with the American flag. There was a time when our children stood at attention and with pride they put their hand on their heart and one united voice recited the Pledge of Allegiance. There was a time when strength and honor meant something, when standing for our flag meant something, when our history, heritage was taught with pride and respect, when respect was given to those who served, bled, and died to protect and defend our freedom, when we were grateful, when our accomplishments meant something, when these United States of America, one nation under God, was united, when the United States of America, one nation under God, was united under the American flag, flag carried in battle by brave patriots as a symbol of freedom and justice for all, no matter race, religion, or background, a beacon of hope when flown, a mark of respect to their memory to those who willfully sacrificed their lives to defend. There's a time when we, the people, decided our future. Do you see that? Working with the children to get these accounts started up, the Trump accounts, so we can have a future for them. There's a time when we, the people, had a voice. We were united and strong, when the media was free from political bias and corruption, when our elected leaders stood their ground, dug in, and defended those they represented. How many men and women in uniform are currently serving on the front lines abroad, only to look back in horror to see the homeland on fire? What does the word patriot mean to you? Land of the free, home of the brave. Now is not the time to be complacent. Will you answer the call? Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what is once was like in the United States, where men and women were free. And I added women. That was from Reagan. We are living in biblical times. This is not about politics. This is about preserving our way of life and protecting the generations that follow. Q.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you again, truly thankful for the leadership that you brought before us to our nation. That's not only for us, but for our children and our children's children. How amazing it is, the thought process of these leaders that we have now. Not only working hard to destroy the enemy, but coming together to say, what are we going to do for the future of this country, for our nation, founded under God? We ask that you would continue to watch over those that are in harm's way, the ships that are going into the Iran area, issues in that on that side, that good decisions will be made and no loss of life there. As the exposure continues in these very dark areas of Minnesota and Atlanta and other places, California, that those people that are exposing this will be protected. The folks that grabbed the ballots to prove that the election was stolen, that their lives will be protected, because we know the enemy will find them, look for them, because they do not believe in freedom and fairness. Because of their corruption, they're dangerous. You see that, you understand that. We ask for your help there. Please protect all those in harm's way. Protect our own family, our own minds and thoughts, and how we interact with others. May we even have the grace and mercy afforded us, given to those around us who are so difficult to be around. We certainly need your help there. We thank you once again for this great nation, United States of America, that you are, we believe, will help not only in many ways just here, but will have a ripple effect across this earth for those starving for good leadership, as the enemy's made so many dents across so many paths in different ways. May it somehow, some way bring so many close to you as we watch in the Bible purchases happening from those that live in darkness now. May your light shine before men through your word. We bring this before you in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen and amen. Folks, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support, your prayers, and so much more. This video went a little longer than expected, but wanted to get it all in. And we're going to be heading into the weekend tomorrow. And wow, what an amazing time it has been to be with all of you on this journey. For now, this LT Semper Fi, with Him We Know, signing out.
What about if you're not left or right? You're just a taxpayer like me, a lowly taxpayer, and I'd like to investigate fraud. I want my money back that was stolen from me. Is that okay or is that not okay?
Listen, that
I want my money back.
That's who they were targeting.
I don't care where it's coming from. I want my money back.
So, but I get
what she is saying
I get it.
Is that
But the point
nothing
is,
they are doing,
none
nothing
of
they
this
have
has
done
to do with
is
fraud.
helping you get your money back.
I
Also,
represent taxpayers and I want my money back.
I understand.